Hello everyone, welcome back to DCS and Enigma's Cold War server, and welcome back to the A10, where recently it has been severely nerfed on the 60s rotation. The A10s always stood out as a bit of an oddball for the server, bit hard to balance. It was dropped temporarily on the 60s rotation, they've just brought it back in, but it gets none of its mavericks and it gets none of its air-to-air missiles, leaving it at quite a big disadvantage from where it was before. But I wanted to jump on and see how much of a difference this made, see if the A10 is still viable, and so that's what we're doing today. Let's hop in and see how it went. So as I was heading towards the front line, I came across these burning friendly bases, and then off my nose I see a dot, and it's moving slow enough that it is going to be some kind of helicopter. Can't ID it at this range for certain, but considering there are lots of burning bases, I am very suspicious, so decide to head in and try and take him out while I'm heading in with everything else. If nothing else, if this is a friendly, then I can just buzz past them and engage targets in the area. Do notice here on the replay there is a second helicopter to the left of this one. I did not spot that one at all. But continuing on here, as I get closer, zooming in, can see that no, that is the silhouette of a Hind. Now, the one thing I do need to be careful of is I can see the bunkers already of the enemy airfield, which means I'm getting really close. Now, I generally don't have to worry about too many of the long-range SAMs. There are some SA-8s in the area, but my biggest threat here is if I get close enough to the airfield, I'll be swamped by a load of man-pads. I'm trying to keep as low as possible. EWR does give helicopters the warnings for planes calling out, so if he's got his EWR on, he knows that I'm getting close, but trying to make sure he doesn't see me. Now I'm keeping nice and low here on the approach. He has turned away and started heading straight for the airfield. This is definitely calling it a bit close, but I figure I've got enough time to get one good pass on him. If I had a missile I would fire it here, but I don't. Mostly I'd fire it just so I can get away. I can see missiles going up there, but they're not on me. Now, I'm out of practice with the A10s guns against helicopters, but just spraying here. Not the best attack that I've ever done, but do manage to get hits, and as I look back I can see rotor blades falling off, and that is enough to kill a Hind. If you see a rotor blade coming off, it is done for. So immediately then turn away from the airfield, because the airfield would have engaged me. Trying to keep an eye out for these other planes. I am currently 15 kilometers clear of anything else, so I decide to head in on the other targets here, and there is what is left of a recently hit base here. This is the enemy depot, and I spot there's something still alive in there. Just to the left hand side of the smoke, you may just be able to make it out. Mostly covered by the smoke. There is some intact building there. I've got two 2,000 pounders, so I decide, well, I can drop one of them on this target. Fortunately, I do look behind me and see a Mirage, but he isn't turning to engage, so I figure I've got enough time to get rid of it here. I drop. Unfortunately, the actual Pipper was locked on the bottom of the HUD there, so I drop a bit short. And unfortunately I forgot to toggle my ripple settings, so it dropped both bombs, so that is the two 2,000 pound bombs wasted. On the bright side, that does make me a little bit lighter here. Unfortunately here, the SA-8 did see me during that, and although I managed to evade some of the missiles, there are plenty more on the way, and the SA-8 ends up taking me down. It's not really a very effective first run there. Managed to get a helicopter kill, but that trading for an A10 isn't really worth it. So anyway, head back in. This time I'm clear for 15 miles, so a little bit more space, though not a huge amount. Do spot this ground target down below. My plan was initially to rocket at range to take out any air defence, but then as I get closer I realise there doesn't really seem to be much in the way of air defence. So instead flip over onto the 2,000 pounders, drop them there, again mess up and accidentally drop twice, so changing over there. And unfortunately those also hit short. Do get some splash damage on the buildings, but I was trying to aim for the centre of the group. You can take out an entire group with one 2,000 pound bomb, and so that was really quite a waste. You can see in the sky there are a lot of Russian bombers in the air on their way. Not really much I can do in an A10 against those, so I'm just prosecuting the ground war here. There is a MiG nearby, but he is very, very high, so I'm not really all that worried about him. He is protecting the bombers, intercepting things that are intercepting them. So I go back in, drop a load of air balloons, or a pair of air balloons, get one good hit on the bunker. The other one was a miss. Correction, the other one did actually hit the splash damage there. So I've mostly taken out this group, still got plenty of air balloons, and I do have the rockets. I've ended up just taking the rockets on the 2 stations, just because that's all I can fit there. Unfortunately, the A10 doesn't get any of the triple ejector racks, and so you are a little bit inefficient using rockets. Either way, I do get those last bombs off, that gets a good hit. And yeah, I'd prefer to keep my racks for the triple ejector rack of bombs, considering we can't really use triple ejector racks of rockets. If we could get them, then I absolutely would for the A10. You can see up there's a high altitude battle going on. I'm quite happy just sticking down low here. Spot another target, decide to turn a little bit away. I'm wanting to drop a lot of bombs here, and I just want to go along in a line, so turn so I can run down the length of this base, hopefully dropping multiple bombs, doing multiple bits of damage. So dive in here, dropping as I go. I do take a couple of hits. One is a particularly bad hit there. My left engine is on fire. I really should have evac'd at this point and RTB'd. The fire does go out, but that engine is now dead. So I'm down to one engine. I do have rockets, and this isn't too bad a decision here, turning in and just wanting to fire off my rockets since I'm in the area. Which is exactly what I do here. Just rifle them away. Don't really get many rockets, considering that's 2 stations worth. Don't know if that actually did any damage, but actually it did do damage, but not a huge amount. So here I am nervous. There is a 19 very close to me here. And again, really should have been using this opportunity to try and run for it. Unfortunately, I decide instead to have a go for guns. Decide that this base doesn't have a lot of air defense, so I may as well use guns. Turn back in. I'm a little bit shaky with the guns. Managed to miss that target, miss with that spray. Do get a good hit there on the technical. Unfortunately, the technical gets a good hit on me. So now as I decide that, right, I'm actually going to head away here, it's a little bit too late. You can see my RPM counter there winding down. Both engines have now failed. The right engine is just on its way out. I'm losing altitude, losing speed, so nothing else to do but to bail at this point. So did a fair bit of damage there. That's about 2 bases. Maybe 3 bases all in all taken out. But, well, 2 and a bit bases. but really could have done better for an A10. Not a good trade, all of that damage just for A10. A10 does take up a lot of attrition for your side, so losing it does hurt you quite a bit. Here though I spot another target, I decide that, right, I'm going to try again with the £2,000 bombs. This time I'm going to go in at a much steeper angle to try and get a better CCIP solution. Pickle away there, pull off. Again, not much AAA in the area. And that time get a nice perfect hit, and that is really satisfying. The £2,000 bombs with Enigma's Cold War high explosive mod on the server means that you can take out an entire base if you get a direct hit, which is really fun, really satisfying to do.
Pull up.
So this is a little bit later. I started to hunt for some more bases when this plane started buzzing by, a mirage, and so decide that if he's going to be hunting me, I need to be aggressive here. My gun is the only air-to-air weapon I've got. Now, I'm in a good position. Unfortunately, he at this point seems quite happy just to buzz by me. He then does roll and turn, so I think, okay, maybe he wants to engage. But then he straightens out again, so I'm really not sure at this point. Really just need to start chasing him. And here again I am really missing the aim-9Bs. If I had the aim-9B, I could absolutely take this guy out. I don't think he knows I'm here, at least he's not paying too much attention. I do give a little burst there, but it really does no good. Far too far range to be particularly accurate. I was mostly being a bit hopeful. And here you can see him going. I'm going to lose him over the other side of the ridge. I'm not sure if he knows I'm here and he's just extending, or if he's got no idea I'm here and I'm just too far to be able to engage him. Give another little burst there. Really more a just in case rather than anything else. Now there, just as he begins to turn, I do start taking fire, realise that I'm taking ground fire. So decide to head away from him. As I turn around I see a base on the ground there. So okay, it is time to go in for take out this base. Unfortunately for me, as I come around here wanting to drop my other £2,000 bomb, I realise that there's a shulker here. And that shulker hits me really bad. Again, I should disengage at this point, pick a different angle of attack. Instead I go for it, lose my avionics, drop the bomb regardless, turn around, and do get a nice perfect hit in the middle of that base there, despite not having CCIP, so I'm happy with that at least. My horrible decisions aren't being too badly punished. But here again I've got twin engine failure. I'm going down, just trying to limp closer to friendly lines before bailing, in the hope that it makes it a bit easier for a helicopter pilot to rescue my pilot. See, my plane is not in a good state. Just trying to drag it out. And just as I do, I hear a airburst behind me, and then something big hits me. So fair enough, something got me. At this point I assume it's the Mirage, so bail. And see, it was actually a Hind. GG there in his Hind managed to smack me out of the sky with a Sturm. So go him, that was a really fun little shot there. Anyway, so once again, jump back in. This time though, our frontline base is being very closely monitored by a huge number of enemy aircraft. You can see there I've got my full EWR picture is full of targets within 10 miles. I was trying to keep close to the airfield, but they were keeping a little bit far away, so I let myself get a little bit exposed here. Do see a sabre off my nose and decide, well, I should go for him. I would drop my ordnance here, but to do that I have to straighten out. And I feel straightening out is going to be the death of me. Try and get off some guns, but again, just not giving it enough lead. He goes high there. Said, okay, maybe this is my opportunity. If I just burn back for the friendly base, maybe I can get back within SAM coverage. And then as I turn around, I see multiple planes behind me. I am now very much the centre of multiple people's attention. You can see a 19 there very close behind me and getting locked by the 19, which is an unusual notification. 19 though does blow past, but I don't have the energy. I should have ditched ordnance when I flattened out there, but I didn't. Trying to get my nose up to give him a slicing shot here. Looks really good positioning. I absolutely whiff the shot, and in doing so I take a lot of damage, and that 15 there has come in and taken my wing off. So yeah, I think what I can take home from all of that is the A10 is still perfectly capable of doing serious damage, air-to-ground damage on the 60s rotation, but it's now really very, very vulnerable when it comes to air-to-air. You can no longer really defend yourself, so you are relying on friendlies giving you cap. Still definitely fun and an enjoyable experience. Hope you all enjoyed watching that, and I hope to catch you in a future video. Till then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.